back to the farm. Rachel here with Johnson Branch, and I am working on our fall starts. Fall has been a really rough season for me, and it's not even here yet. This is my third round of fall starts, and my first two rounds have been absolutely destroyed by worms. It was actually pretty discouraging. Then what little starts survived were killed in a really bad rainstorm that we did not see coming. The weather here in the mountains sometimes can be very unpredictable. We have had times where there's been absolutely no forecast for snow, no talk of snow from anywhere, and we've decided to rent heavy equipment, and then it literally snowed like the whole week on the equipment. So it can be tricky and it can be challenging, but we persevere, right? So I'm out here on my porch starting my fall seeds. This is usually where I do most of my seed starting, and I'm not giving up. I wanted to give up. I actually last week made up in my mind that I was just going to grow fall plants for our family and I wasn't going to worry about anyone else or markets or anything like that, but I know deep down inside that's not what I'm supposed to do. So I'm out here. I've got a tray of lettuce going and a tray, the tray that was just going to be for our family, of Brussels, a couple different kinds of cabbage and kale. The main garden, I've already got some kale. My Swiss chard is doing really well, so I won't need to plant any more of that. I've got some baby kale and some baby greens as well going. And also have dill and cilantro. We've actually had, again, fall's not even here yet, and we're having all of these challenges with the bear that's roaming our property. He has absolutely destroyed our basil, and he has destroyed the cilantro that was planted next to it, and cilantro is a huge seller for us as well as our basil. And I had to just walk away. It was more than I could take. So luckily I had some more basil started in the greenhouse. I'll be able to probably get that out this week, and hopefully we'll have enough to salvage just to kind of get us through. But yeah, fall's been rough and fall's not even here yet. So I'm gonna get these seeds going. I'm using my soil blocker, which I've done a video on that before. I actually have a love-hate relationship with this thing. It's a mess. It makes a mess. But economically, it's like the cheapest thing I can find. The seedlings do seem to do better in the soil block. It's easier to plant out in the field from the tray to the field, and there's less waste. I don't have to buy a bunch of plastic trays that either get broken or thrown away or that I have to replace. Like one metal blocker, you know, has lasted me a year already, you know, and it'll keep going. So more on that in the video. But I'm just sitting out here. The kids are playing in the yard. Baby's taking a nap. And I'm gonna get these seeds done. Also, with owning a farm business, and this is our first year into it all, is you have to be adaptable. If something's not working, you have to be able to say, okay, that's fine, let's learn from it and move on, and not throw your hands up in the air and get discouraged like I tend to do, and just keep pushing through, because eventually you're going to figure it out and you're going to find that niche and be able to be successful in this line of work. We know that this is what we're supposed to do as far as growing our own food. Now, whether it reaches any farther than that is still yet to be determined, but we're gonna keep pushing through. Actually, we've filmed like 3 fall videos so far, and I've gotten rid of all of them because y'all, it made me so down, and I don't want to be down. I want to be uplifting and encouraging and help you all throughout this, but man, it just had me so discouraged because like everything died. But I'm not giving up, and that means I'm not giving up on shooting this video either. growing for fall. I have cauliflower and broccoli. I am not 110% sold on having cauliflower and broccoli in the garden. They require so much nutrition for, such a little head of broccoli and cauliflower that I don't know if it's really worth the time and the effort. That was at least in our experience. Now, we grew them in the spring going into summer, so I'm going to see how I feel about it in the fall. So I'm just going to plant a few of those for our personal use. My kids don't like to eat them frozen and then cooked. They like them fresh or cooked from raw. So that's not something I'm going to really want to preserve anyway. Enough to just kind of eat here and there and eat fresh is fine. However, it might be something I want to consider growing for market or for farm boxes. So I'm going to give it a shot. Next I have, this Brunswick cabbage, which is a green cabbage, and this red rock cabbage. We love fermented sauerkraut, and that's the only reason I'm growing these. These would be, again, for ours, but I'll see how it does, and if it does good enough, it might be something we include in boxes or at the market later on down the road. Again, it's just another big plant. It requires a lot of care and attention for one thing. So for personal, I don't mind putting the time and effort into it because I know we're going to eat it and we're going to benefit from it health-wise. I just have to figure out if this is something I want to pursue as part of the farm business side of it. So again, fall is going to be kind of our experiment with these. One thing that sells like crazy, we eat like crazy, won't have any problems growing, is kale. I've got three kinds of kale going. I have a purple kale that's actually done really well. It was one of the few things that survived the greenhouse, so that's actually planted out in the garden already. I'm starting another round of this blue curled Scotch kale, and I like this one. This is more of like a dino kale, sauteed and used in like eggs and cooked that way. I like the variety it gives. They look different, and I feel like they're really appealing and fun to get in a box or at the market, so I'm growing these again. Another thing I'm growing are Brussels sprouts. My kids love Brussels sprouts. I didn't grow up eating Brussels sprouts, but I figured out if you cook them well in a lot of butter or fat, that they taste really good, and a lot of salt. So I'm growing Brussels sprouts. I also don't really see anybody growing these at the market, so I don't know if there's a reason for that or it's just not something that they're doing. I don't know. So I'm gonna again give it a try for fall. I hear that in our zone, we're in zone 6B, that they do better in the fall than they do the spring. So I don't know if that's the trick. Again, this is another experimental one that I'm doing for the farm business side of it, but I know for personal use, we'll get a lot of use out of this one. Again, purple did well just like the kale did in my failure fall attempts, and so I already have purple Brussels sprouts growing out in the main garden. So I'm going to plant another round of the green Brussels. That's what I'm starting today. Like I said earlier, I already have Swiss chard out there, and it's doing phenomenal. I have a baby kale going. I have a salad mix going. I have beets and radishes going. And I'm also going to direct sow some scallions and direct sow some kohlrabi. I don't see kohlrabi there at the market either. So again, I'm trying to figure out if there's a reason for that or if it's just not something that people think to grow around here. You know, they kind of got their set stuff that they grow and that's what they don't deviate from. I'm going to try it, and if not, we'll have lots of kohlrabi to eat. Oh, and another thing, I am going to direct sow carrots because I've heard, and I'm not sure if this is 100% true, that carrots do better in the fall. They're sweeter with the cooler weather. So I'm going to direct sow carrots as well. For market and for farm boxes, and as well for us. Like, my kids eat a ton of carrot. That will be another direct sown crop. It won't be started in the soil blocks. So that's what I've got growing. So that's what we've got going on for fall, and I hope to take you along with us. Hopefully there'll be more successes than failures, but that's farming, right? You got to take the good with the bad. Thank you for following along. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you on the next video.